You got Californians in my comments all over social media talking about how they voted no on Prop 50, rejoicing as if they took a stand, as if they got to say so in the matter. You think that Gavin Newsom and the Democrats spent all your hard-earned taxpayer money for them to put this on the ballot, for them not to get the outcome that they want? You think your little no vote is gonna count? Like, I don't know when y'all gonna learn, man. Y'all spent mad money trying to recall him the first time, and that didn't work. And you think all that money, all their taxpayer money that they took from y'all so that they could have record homelessness, high gas prices, unemployment, companies moving out of your state, you think your little no vote is gonna do something? Y'all in for a rude awakening in California. Y'all think voting red is gonna save you? No. Like Drake said, y'all gotta follow through. Y'all gotta follow through and all that. Alright? Y'all, you think voting blue no matter who didn't have any consequences? Yeah, alright.
Wow. Major breaking news for Californians. Proposition 50 has passed. This is great news for Democrats and great news for California Governor Gavin Newsom, despite Trump's attempts to convince Californians to vote no against Prop 50. And as you can see, the current live results show 65% to 34%, which is a pretty wide margin on the yes on Prop 50. Now, what this means is that the legislature will redraw the congressional maps, which will override the current maps drawn by the Independent California Commission, which potentially could add 5 more Democratic seats, which is a major win for Democrats because this can be used in next year's midterm elections and counters what Texas has done when they redrew their congressional maps. And with all Democratic candidates winning by a landslide, Proposition 50 passing in California, and all 3 Democratic justices retaining their seats, Trump finally responded with, "And so it begins." So, with tonight's results and a major win for Democrats, do you believe President Trump is winning?
So I just want to congratulate those of you that voted yes on Prop 50. You're going to get what you deserve. This was going to be a really bad idea. The exit polls showed that 92% of people want an independent commission to determine districting. That's the exact opposite of what you voted for. So I really think the California public is just extremely uninformed, and they're just angry, and anything that's like Orange Man bad, fall for the propaganda is what you're going for. So I think you're gonna have a lot of problems over these next few years, and it's all gonna come back to those of you that voted for this, and I'm gonna make fun of you.
Remember everybody screaming no kings, democracy matters, no dictators? Apparently that only applies until it's their king, because now the ones warning about threats to democracy are totally fine with them removing a constitutional amendment as long as it's their side that does it. No kings, they said, unless he's wearing blue, they meant. If you only care about limits on power when you're not the one holding it, you don't hate kings. You just want to be one. Newsom. To every single hypocritical Democrat in this God-forsaken state, you deserve everything you voted for. So don't cry when the power you handed over gets used against you. I hope your king remembers to crown you too, since you're so loyal to his throne.
Do you guys want to see just how unintelligent people are? This one thing proves that we are really, truly being destroyed by absolute stupidity.
Yes vote in particular with Prop 50. The reason voters said they voted yes on Prop 50, 82% of the case, 8 out of 10 voters say it was to counter the GOP changes, not because they thought it was the best way to draw those district lines. The irony of this trace is that 9 out of 10 voters, even more so, said they'd like to see this done by a nonpartisan commission, not the party in power.
So Prop 50 was just passed in California. People voted for it not because they thought it was the best way to do things, but because they think it opposes Trump. Meanwhile, when asked how they want these maps to be drawn, they want it to be done by an independent commission, which is what they already had. And they voted in favor of the party in power drawing the maps instead, while saying that that's not what they wanted. So they voted against the thing that they wanted and in favor of the thing that they didn't want, because their TDS has melted their brain.
I'm waking up today like weirdly emotional. I'm looking at the results of yesterday's elections, and I'm not sad or angry, which is like the first fucking time that that's happened. After looking at election results, I feel like, in a bit. So much over the last year has been watching it and feeling helpless as like the people that need it the most are getting their rights taken away, getting their food taken away, getting literally just nothing, and feeling like there's nothing you can do about it. Like we're totally out of control, and that helplessness and that frustration that comes with that has been so exhausting. And the easy thing to do is to stick your head in the sand and pretend like it's not happening and not pay attention to politics. But that's the coward way to go. And even though I couldn't vote in any of these elections because my state, wasn't involved last night, I was paying attention because I wanted to hear from the people for once instead of the talking heads. And throughout all of that, they showed up, they showed up. And those of us in states that couldn't participate, I feel like we needed to see that. We needed to see that we as a people have a voice and that we can use it to make actual change. And let me make this clear. This isn't just an anti-Trump, anti-Republican. We need to just tell the establishment Democrats, too, that this shit isn't working for us anymore. We need leaders that actually care about someone other than the 1%. That actually, even if all their policies don't happen, they have plans and they have policies that are actually meant to help the people, all the people, and not just some of the people that they serve. From, these smaller commissioner seats to governors and mayors to Prop 50, it was such a loud stance that voters made last night that we're done. This is not working. We're doing what we can. And you took the one power that you had and you took it to the ballot box, whether you were being threatened or not, in order to even go cast your vote. That's bravery. And that bravery gives the rest of us hope. Hope that this will end, hope that the people can make a difference, and the motivation to stay engaged. So, congrats to everybody that participated last night. You did it. And thank you for those of us that had to watch from the sidelines and cross our fingers that it wasn't going to be another disappointment. Today, I am proud of my fellow Americans, and thanks for that.
So Prop 50 has passed in California, but what made me almost fall out of my chair is when I was watching the returns on Fox News and they flashed one of the questions from the exit polls. This just goes to show you the common intelligence of the general public and how sad it is that their votes actually cancel out your votes. I took this picture of my TV with my phone because I was just shocked and I had to make sure I was getting this right. When voters were asked how the maps should be drawn, 92% of people say a non-partisan commission, and only 7% said the party in power should draw the maps. But Prop 50 just did the opposite of that. Literally, it gave more partisan power to Democrats to redraw the maps in insane ways that basically just hands them over 5 new House seats. And what's even crazier is that of the people who voted yes, only 17% of people admitted that it's because they believe this is the best way to draw the district lines. 82% of the people who voted yes believed the lie that the GOP was doing the exact same things. Like they just woke up one day and decided to get new House seats, when that's not what happened in Texas. It started with a lawsuit by the Biden administration against Texas several years ago. So it's not anywhere near the same thing. This is why we consistently need to fight for truth online, on social media, anywhere you go. Because California voters just passed Prop 50 when the overwhelming majority of them admitted that it's not the best way to draw the maps, and when they flat out admitted that they would rather have a nonpartisan body draw the maps. Yet they just gave Democrats the power to do just that.
California, you did it. Prop 50 has officially passed. That means the Democrats have swept the floor tonight. In Georgia, you were able to flip 2 seats. In New York, you were able to make a progressive candidate your mayor. Guys, the things that happened today should excite you. This is the wave of the future. Democracy is standing up. And that goes to show you that we are paying attention. And doesn't that give you just a great warm feeling of hope? It's time for the change we say we want it to be. With that being said, we still got massive amounts of work to do, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what's coming next? The block party. Remember? I'm going to be looking forward to you all showing up to that so we can take the money out of the pockets who are feeding this dictator, you know? But tonight, we celebrate and we bask in the glory of being the true winners we always knew we could be. Congratulations to all of you. For those of you that got out and vote, thank you. If you canvassed the street, thank you. If you phone banked, thank you. If you interviewed a candidate, thank you. Shared, reposted, thank you.
So California voters passed Prop 50. Here's why that matters, even if you don't live in California. So Prop 50 was a measure put forth by Gavin Newsom after all of the redistricting mess that happened in Texas this past summer. Many other Republican states have started doing the same thing, where they're just redrawing maps when they're not even supposed to be doing it in order to make Republicans win. So overwhelmingly, Prop 50 passed. And number one, this now means that California may potentially have 5 more Democratic congressional leaders that they'll be sending to Congress. This will throw off the balance in the House. That means President Trump will have far less power than he does right now, right? This is what he was afraid of, which is why he was forcing states to redistrict to begin with. CNN had an exit poll and found that over half of the people said that it was specifically about Trump, which is why they voted yes, which was ultimately against President Trump. Probably some of the biggest news to come out of the Prop 50 win is that 8 counties that previously voted for Trump in the presidential election, they voted yes on Prop 50. They are against Trump now. The largest yes margin among the 8 counties that voted for Trump was Imperial County, okay? There was a 20% increase in the amount of people that were literally voting against Trump in this area. Also, San Bernardino and Riverside also recorded huge yes victories by 16.4% and 13.8% respectively. I personally can tell you there is a huge military and veteran presence in my area. I mean, our No Kings protests just get bigger and bigger and bigger. Veterans and military folks, even before the 2-month shutdown that we've had, are sick of Trump. They are over it. So one other takeaway is that now, after Gavin Newsom's win, he really put himself out there for this. He's definitely going to run for president, and he's probably going to win.
Okay, and lastly, Republicans are big whiny crybabies. They don't like when people vote. They like to force things on citizens. They didn't get upset with all of the illegal redistricting that was happening without voters' consent in every other state. Now they're crying fraud and like suing, but I'm sorry, the voters voted on this. It wasn't forced upon us like it was in every other state. We voted. We don't like it when people cheat to win. If we get beaten fairly, fine, but not when you cheat.
As if it couldn't get any better, California's Prop 50 has passed. Here's everything you need to know. Prop 50 will allow the Democrats in California to redraw the congressional map of the state to benefit them. This move is expected to add around 5 Democratic seats to the House of Representatives come the midterm elections in 2026. And they didn't just do this for no reason. They did this because Texas redrew their congressional map to add more Republican seats to the House of Representatives because the Republicans fear losing control of Congress come 2026 because of how widely unpopular Trump's presidency has become. Basically, the Republicans said, we're going to lose, let's rig it, and then California said, we're not going to let that happen. They stood on business, and Prop 50 has been passed and signed into law. This is yet another historic victory for the Democrats. On top of winning in states like New Jersey, Virginia, Georgia, and New York City, woke is back.
Everybody keeps saying, well, Texas did it first. Yeah, and here's the difference that nobody wants to admit. In Texas, Republicans redrew the lines with the power they already had. It's gerrymandering, sure, but they didn't need to change their constitution to do it. Proposition 50 changed the state's constitution to give power back to the politicians that we, the people, voted to take away years ago permanently. If you can temporarily erase our Constitution, why stop there? One used its existing power it already had. The other completely silenced we the people and our votes. The same voters who created the independent commission to prevent this exact thing from happening. That's not balance. That's corruption with permission.
Man, everybody talk about politics. And y'all know I don't like politics, but hey, we gonna talk about it. Surprisingly, 50 Cent says something. 50 Cent is usually quiet about politics, but he goes RIP NYC. So whoever got elected out there, he wasn't happy about it, but he don't live out there. So I guess he gonna say his opinion. But anyway, I already knew Prop 50 was gonna pass. No, I didn't vote. But I feel like the gentleman in the beginning, the Democrats put a lot of money in investing in that. They were gonna get that anyway. Now, before y'all be in my comments talking about your voice, your vote, there's so many laws that's been passed in California that was never even on the ballot and they was passed, okay? For example, I still don't know who said we wanted to pay 10 cents for bags. I'm still mad about that. I got charged 20 cents today in the store for paper bags, okay? Mad as hell. I didn't vote for that. As a matter of fact, I do remember that particular thing being on the ballot and I voted no. And a lot of other people said they voted no. I could not find one person who said they voted yes. I personally feel like voting is an illusion. Back then when it had power, it has changed. The corporations has it. This is why you cannot, in certain states, use your food stamps to buy sugar, snacks, and all that stuff because it's what the government want to do. That's why the survivors in the Palisades and the people who lost their homes in their fires, they're not getting help for real from California like that. They're not getting the help. Y'all who don't live in California that moved on about your lives because it don't affect you, right? Just like with the waters and the hurricanes affecting down south, that don't affect us. So a lot of us do not really pay attention to what other states got going on. I can say, man, that person and that governor seemed pretty cool. And then somebody from that state can be like, hell no, he tearing up the state. Just like I feel about Newsom. Now listen, Governor Newsom is he got a bigger play. he did not do right by California. He didn't do the water preserves. Everybody just got on him about that. And Trump really dug that one in because he warned them beforehand and he chose not to do it, which made the insurance premiums go up. And a lot of the insurance companies move out of the state of California. Yada, 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 yada. You got to do your own research because I don't care. But here's the bottom line. Gavin Newsom is going to run for president in 2028. I'm mad that I didn't say this when the fires happened. I want to say my husband may have mentioned it on his channel, but this was the bigger play anyway. He is going to announce himself as the one who fought and stood up against Trump. And everybody's going to eat it up. Everybody's going to love it. And then everybody's going to vote for him. Right? And that's just what's going to happen because in politics, in my opinion, are very emotional based, meaning they will trigger and pull your heartstrings, make you feel upset, make you feel like it's this person to blame. But if you vote for that person, you won't get them problems anymore. You'll still have the problems. Gavin Newsom is going to replace Trump and he's going to undo a lot of stuff that Trump's done, but he's going to keep a lot of things that Trump did on the guise of, oh, he can't really change it right now type shit. It's just it's this game where the higher ups is going to tell us who our owners is going to be next. You know what I'm saying? Who we belong to next, okay? And that's all that is. My biggest takeaway from politics in general, do what the others do. Meaning they put their money towards the stocks that they know that are going to get the money. Listen to not Bill Gates, Warren Buffett when he comes out periodically and say his little 2-piece in a biscuit, because I believe 2-3 years ago he was telling everybody don't spend no money, hold your money, don't be buying new stuff. Da 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 da. It was a little bit after COVID. He was talking about don't spend your money, hold your money. So the reason why they're doing that is because they holding it right now. And then when everything hit the fan and the economy go belly up again, the rich people can come and buy it. So they can buy the homes that go under foreclosure because the working class lost their jobs or they messed it up and wherever they messed it up and couldn't afford it anymore because of the thing. And this is why I just don't really like participating in politics. I think people who blame poor people for the way the economy is crazy. They are the ones with least power, right? The people was like, y'all need to get a job because of the food stamps. But then people had to admit, and I said this in a couple of my videos, but nobody wanted to pay attention to me. Military families receive food stamps. There's a lot of people who are working who receive food stamps and they don't make enough. So instead of getting mad at the poor people who do have jobs, who jobs don't pay enough and they got 3, 4, 5 of them things in order to feed their family, y'all need to get upset with these companies. Back in the day, okay, when Meemaw and Pawpaw and shit was working and stuff, they had a living wage, which means they only needed one job to survive and take care of their family. Now, some people were poorer than others and things was a little cray-cray. You know, poverty was always here because you need poverty, middle class, and rich to make this thing go around because that's how the government created it. But anyway, that's beside the point. Instead of getting upset with people getting food stamps, and I think the news came out and said only like 3% is fraud. Instead of getting upset about that, y'all really, really, really need to get y'all nuts out y'all pocket and really start holding these companies accountable of what they paying y'all. There is no reason why a janitor should be a janitor, a security guard, and an office clerk all in one job and get one pay. Okay, that really needs to be discussed. That's why I don't discuss politics. When y'all start talking about real stuff like that, then y'all can come get me, okay? But until y'all do that, I'ma just let y'all argue amongst yourselves because it's a moot point. You know, you need 2 wings in order for the bird to fly. So whether it's right wing or left wing, they all doing the same thing. And I don't care what nobody say. The Democrats and the Republicans are both playing with everybody with this shutdown, with the federal workers, with the food stamps for people who need them, all of that. They playing with everybody. It ain't just one person. It ain't just one evil schmeasel person. But, I mean, they need a bad guy. And I believe after the presidency is over, they're going to shun Trump again. Now, if y'all remember his first term, everybody was kissing his butt when he was president. By the time it was time for him to go, they shunned that man. They blocked him from Facebook. He couldn't speak on no social media platforms. They kicked him off of Facebook, Twitter, because it was Twitter at the time. It came off Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, whatever social media platform he was not allowed to speak. They banned him. Y'all remember that? I don't know why people forget, but that's why it's so easy for people to be manipulated. But for the people who remember, they shunned Trump, right? They really just was like talking mad stuff about him and everything. That's why when he got a second term, everybody was upset because they was talking all that trash because they didn't think he was going to win. And he did win for whatever reason because nobody wanted Kamala, which they thought was a great woman, but didn't want to investigate the dirty stuff, the dirty politics she was doing in California. Again, y'all didn't have to deal with this woman. Y'all just seen her as Kamala, as how she came to you and how she presented herself. And that's what politics do. All politicians are dirty. Nobody's hands is clean. Ain't nobody trying to change the world or save the world because it would have already been done. Okay. It's a bloodline thing. It's all types of stuff. Call me a conspiracy theorist if you want to, but obviously things are being the same way. Okay, watch a Zeitgeist movie. I don't care. Do what you will with it. Anyway, so like I was saying, Kamala Harris, she threw a lot of single moms in jail behind not even just single moms, single fathers, single parents in jail for the kids not going to school. And a lot of those kids, the majority of those children either were ditching or a lot of them had like illnesses, like they couldn't go to school because they were physically sick, like cancer and a couple of other things. This girl almost died because of what happened with Kamala, whatever the hell you want to call her, and stuff like that. It's a whole thing. So no politician is clean. Everybody politician's hands is dirty. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised if they was all on the Epstein list. Okay, would not shock me, not one iota. Okay, it's so many things that's above us, and now they talk about aliens are here because they have to talk about them, and if I think the aliens are what I think they are, I wish. Okay, I'm gonna just say that. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about this mess in the comments. Again, whoever is president, who's ever holding a seat, follow the money. Okay, follow the money. And I'm not talking about in the White House and in the government, because that money don't belong to you. That's what they stealing from you, right? Invest. Okay, focus on that. There's a reason why they say politics are for the poor, because if you get and argue with people, you can't focus on the money. But if a lot of y'all are listening and y'all take heed, and y'all won't, that's why there's a lot of courses online for free of people for doing financial things, because they know a lot of y'all won't really take it. So, but the ones who will, follow the investments, follow the money. Shit, you can see where the governor, the people in the government are putting their money at. Right now it's AI and a couple of other stocks. Wherever they putting their money, you put your money. Don't let them just steal from you. What y'all doing? Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. I'm out.
We in a no hyena zone. Anti-hyena zone.